Russia. Sorry, Russia. Okay, this is better. Let's not waste any more time. What can we expect from Russia at the European Hockey Championships? 22nd in the world rankings and undoubtedly the weakest team in the tournament, Russia is not expected to make big waves or even to get a point in an incredibly tough group, but they are in the tournament and will want to prove people like me wrong, perhaps not by getting a point, but by doing their utter best to give their opponents a tough time. It's hard not to predict a brutal tournament with each game ending up in a severe defeat for Russia, but that's not really the players or coaches' fault either. Field hockey is not a prominent sport at all in Russia, with football and winter sports, ice hockey specifically, being more popular sports. But even in a country where field hockey is not popular at all, there are major problems with the federation and infrastructures. Russia only has 2 FIH certified pitches, both in Kazan, which is really a detriment to player development. Their other facilities aren't very modern or adequate in many cases, but that's also due in part to the sport just not being played much. With only a small number of teams in Russia's Super League, the player pool to choose from is extremely narrow. And as for the federation, they find themselves in a spot of bother as recently as late 2020. Why? Well, let's just say they like money. But they don't really use social media, they don't really have a stream of income in terms of sponsorships, they are very selective about what they put out into the world. Their website, for example, only shows the national team selections until 2019, and it's the exact same for the Super League calendar, etc. This is only Russia's 3rd participation in the highest EuroHockey Championships, after finishing 7th in 2011 and 8th in 2015, where they lost all 5 games, scoring only 7 and conceding 42. They finished 2nd in the 2019 EuroHockey Championships too, after losing 4-0 to France, which is how they got into the tournament, but they've only played 2 games since, and both of them Olympic qualifiers, which they lost 4-2 and 7-1 to India. By the time Russia will play their first game at the European Championships, it'll be 17 months since the national team will have played a game. Now, Russia's club competition only starts in April, meaning both clubs and national team will be rusty and won't have gelled together like Belgium, England or Spain will have, and that doesn't bode well. So, what should we expect? How can I preview a team where the information on players is minimal and when I'm not even sure who's going to make the squad and what their strengths are? I'm afraid it's a guessing game. Russia really won't have much of a chance and is likely going to concede a lot of goals. I'm talking 10 plus against Belgium, at least 7 against both England and Spain, and because England and Spain will face each other at the last day of the group stages, they might have an incentive to score a lot more against Russia should their game end in a draw. Yes, everyone likes goals in demolition jobs, but this will be absolutely brutal and will quickly get tiresome. I really don't want to be negative about any team, but this has Brazil at the 2016 Olympics written all over it. If you don't remember those games, here you go. But Russia is capable of scoring a goal or two. Their star man is undoubtedly striker Semyon Matkovsky of Dynamo Kazan, but Pavel Golubev, Marat Skyrulin and Sergei Lepeshkin, who also play for Dynamo, are also capable of goals, especially on the penalty corner. In fact, all of these names here play for Dynamo Kazan, as do both goalies. But I'm not sure all of them will play, and again, they will be far outclassed by their opponents. 20-year-old Alexei Sobolevsky is the dark horse and probably Russia's next best player, but he's still young, and I repeat, I couldn't find much information on their players or even a preliminary squad. In conclusion, will Russia do much at the tournament? No. But the players have done well to make it this far, especially considering the conditions and roadblocks they face year in, year out at both club and international level. Yes, they'll lose by huge margins, but I'm sure we'll all be rooting for them to get at least 1 goal each game. I know I will.